If you're a fitness coach and you're trying to turn your followers into clients, but you're stuck in the DMs and you're messaging people who don't have the money and you're trying to get people on calls and it's kind of a mess, then this training is gonna punch you in the gut in the best way possible. I ran this private session for Ashton Hall's private mentorship clients, 90 of them, to show them exactly how to do one thing, all while being less stressful and a sales system that doesn't require luck. My name is Sami Meibar and I've built sales teams that have generated over $40 million in revenue. This is the same stuff that I teach the top 1% of coaches and influencers online. So grab a notebook and let's turn your followers into income.
All right, so when we're jumping on a sales call, the one thing that you want to realize is these people are coming to you because they have a problem that they haven't fixed in a very long time, and enough is enough, they're ready to get it done. If they don't get this problem fixed with you, you're doing them a disservice because guess what? They're gonna go right back to their regular lives. If they've been overweight for 10 years and they don't work with you today, guess what they're gonna do for the next 10 years? Probably the same thing they've already been doing. They may buy a $45 fitness coaching program, or they may do a $30 nutrition busting gut thing online, but they'll follow for 10 minutes and then never follow again. Or maybe even worse, they'll download it, never read it, and it'll collect dust. Raise your hands who here has a PDF that they downloaded for free, or even 10 bucks that they never went through, never actually executed any of that stuff. Raise your hands. Easy, right? I'll tell you this. Could you imagine one of those documents I sent you, or like one of those ones that you had? What if I just withdrew 100 grand from your account in exchange for that PDF? I'm like, hey, you know that PDF that you had on your desktop? I've taken 100 grand from your bank. You will never be able to get this money back. It's the price of this PDF. Guess what you're gonna do? Well, first off, let's just pretend you tried to call the bank and the bank said, hey, it's too late, whatever. What are you gonna do next? You're gonna sit down and you're gonna scrape every single piece of knowledge out of that, because technically it cost you $100,000. Same thing with fitness. That same $10 PDF that you sold them or someone gave them, if you charged $5,000 for that nutrition PDF, they're probably gonna actually follow it. They're like, damn. So when people don't pay, they don't pay attention. And so one of the reasons why we're also charging a premium, why we need to charge a premium, is because we want to stand out and we want to be someone who says, hey, if you want to take this seriously, this is the cost for doing this. That's why I'm going to tell you guys about the $75,000 coach, because at $75,000, that's the same as someone paying $2,000, and it feels the same pain for them, or like the same amount of money for them. Make sense? Cool. Mental notes before the call. When you're jumping on a sales call with someone, even though you're all fitness coaches and you all want to go ahead and solve their problems immediately, like we're just like, oh, I know what you're struggling with. Like you probably get on a call within 2 minutes, you know, hey, you need this workout, you need this nutrition. Like you can tell how to fix this person's problem. We can't automatically do that, unfortunately, because we need them to open up and say things out loud, not just to admit it to us, but to admit it to themselves. So the whole point in a sales call is to let them open up their emotions, tell you what's going on, show you the pain points. So at the end of the call, you can say, cool, like here's how I can help. I'm gonna go through this slowly, or as realistically speed as I can, so I don't overwhelm you guys. Mental notes before the call. When you show up on the call, you need to have childlike curiosity. Childlike curiosity. Jeffrey, I saw you had your kid in the shot. I'm assuming your kid, unless you borrowed them from the neighbors. You had the kid come into the shot. They ask you some very, very interesting questions. Hey dad, why does the sun, come out tomorrow? Like, how do we know it's going to come out tomorrow? And you can't get mad. You can't be like, oh, you stupid. You have to be like, hey, because, it's the sun rotates around the earth. It's going to show up tomorrow. And then they do something very interesting. You go, but how do you know? And you're like, well, because for all my life, every day I wake up and the sun comes up. Like, but why does it do that? And you go very calmly, you stay very calm. You say, well, because when the sun goes around the earth, it's blocked by the earth and it comes around the next day. How do you know it's going to happen again? Well, out of 30 whatever years of my life, been doing this, I've seen it. Okay, but why? And they just keep asking why, how, all the stuff, and you stay very patient. You stay patient because it's childlike curiosity. So when someone's on a sales call and you're asking them, hey, like, what's not working for you? They'll tell you that, hey, I just can't lose weight. And instead of grilling them, you need to have that childlike curiosity where you say, interesting. Well, when you say you've tried everything, what have you tried so far? And we're doing it in a curious child tonality. Like you really are curious. And they say, I feel disgusting in my own clothes or my own skin. You just go, how so? We just need to ask them those questions with that childlike curiosity. It's the first thing. Second thing, it's doctor frame. At a doctor, you go and at the end of the doctor's visit, they say, Jeffrey, you've got a broken leg. If you've broken this thing, and if you don't have surgery, you're never gonna walk again. Like he's telling you that certainty. You don't question him. You don't have it. You're just like, what? Cool, fix my leg. You trust that authority. And at the beginning of the lesson, he's sitting there and he's like, hey, does it hurt here? Does it hurt there? If I press here, is it a long pain? Is it a short pain? How long have you had this pain? He asks you questions. You answer them. Then at the end, he goes ahead and says, this is how we fix your leg. Because he's in that authority place. You just go, cool, fix it. You trust him. Lastly, we want to have a human connection above all else. Whenever we're speaking to people, we have to remember these are human beings. These are human beings' lives. And we're here to We're here to serve people. We truly are here to make a change in this world. Because in reality, if someone doesn't work with us, does it change our lives? No. There's going to be another 10 people who will work with. But what a shame if we can't help that person who got off the call, went back to their lives, went through the misery that they were telling you about. If they were saying, "Hey, I'm having a terrible time with my husband or my wife. I haven't been intimate in years," which I'm sure you guys have heard before, or "I feel disgusting," or I want to be the superhero my kids want, and I can't be that guy because I'm overweight." And you've heard that before. Your job to make sure you fix their life. So you're on this call to change people's lives, human connection, blah, blah, blah. All right. Took a long time to dive in, but we're about to dive in. When you're getting on a call, I'll send you guys this document, but it's important to hear me say it so you guys can learn how to do this. When you jump on the call, we want to only spend around 1 or 2 minutes getting to know the person. We don't want to say, "Oh, how's the weather?" Da da da, and spend 20 minutes wasting time. 1, 2 minutes. "Joseph, how's the weather there? Where you at?" "Oh, cool. My grandmother's hamster is from Tennessee." Like just whatever. Just 2 minutes of report. Then we go into setting the frame from the call. My favorite way of setting the frame for a call is what I like to call a NOT. A-N-O-T. Which means, "Hey, Joseph, I'm only picking on you guys because you're only on camera. Anyone else who puts on camera will get a bonus." But anyway, so this is how I started. "Joseph, I appreciate you being on this call. Look, naturally, you're going to have a bunch of questions for me. Of course, I'm going to have a bunch of questions for you. Typically, what I find works best is if I get an understanding as to, what's working, what's not working. If I can help you, I'll just walk you through what that looks. Sound fair?" We do this so that we can be in the driver's seat, because otherwise they say, "Well, how's the program? What does it work? How much does it cost?" Like you're going to throw a million questions in. So we do this so that we're in the driver's seat. We're asking the question. The person who's asking the question is in control of the call. You have to remember that. Now, we always start with the pain point. The reason why we start with the pain point instead of the goal is because if you ask someone what's the goal, it's usually very vague of an answer. "Hey, Jeffrey, what's the goal?" "I want to lose some weight." "How much weight?" "I don't know. I just want to lose some weight." Pretty vague, right? But if I ask you, "Hey, what's not working for you?" And if we want to play around with it, Jeffrey, unmute so you can, we can play this around. Like you can pretend one of your clients. I'm like, "Hey, so far, man, what's currently not working for you in your journey to lose weight?"
I mean, I would say I've tried everything. I've tried to check up on my nutrition, changing my training programs, but nothing seems to be working for me.
Okay. And when you say nothing seems to be working with you, so example I can say here, I say, "Could you give me an example of what you've tried doing and what hasn't worked?" And we don't have to continue, but I'm just giving an example. And then you may say, "Well, I've been doing all these things. I've been going to the gym. I've been eating, dialing my nutrition, all that stuff, fun stuff." And then I'm like, "Well, when you say, you've been doing focusing on nutrition, can I ask you a personal question? Like, how much weight are you trying to lose?" And you may say something like, "I don't know, 40 pounds, right? 40 pounds." I'm like, "Cool. Can I ask you another personal question? This 40 pounds that you have extra, has it affected you in any way? Like, what doesn't it allow you to do that you want to do now? Like, why even lose?" We almost want to play sometimes devil's advocate so they can say, "Well, I really want to lose it because," and then some people will tell you, "I don't feel confident in my own skin." What do you mean by that? "Well, I don't like the person I am." Now, sometimes I don't know if you've had this, and this is really important. If you're on a sales call, especially in the fitness space, sometimes people will say something and they'll make a joke about it because if it's really bad, they'll joke about it to relieve the pressure. Like they'll be like, "Oh, I'm just a fatty," right? Like, "Oh, I've always been a fatty. I'm just a fatty," right? Now, what's your immediate reaction to that? Usually you go, "Oh, no, don't worry about it. You're not that bad." Or you'll try to release the tension, release the pressure. It's the exact same thing with, I don't know about you guys, but I get nervous when I go to the doctor. So when I go to the doctor's office, I like to crack a joke. I'm like, I'm just blah, blah, blah. Doctor doesn't think I'm funny. Never laughed once. I've never made a doctor laugh. Straight face. They write some notes and they're like, "Your leg's broken. You need to fix him." Like, I take it seriously. So when someone makes a joke on a sales call, especially when they're going through their pain points, which is what this section is, we don't want to relieve the pressure. They say, "I'm just always being a fatty." You just say something like this. Can I ask you something personal? Yeah. Are you okay to settle for that identity?" We're really putting them in the pressure. Like we're not releasing the pressure. We're not laughing. We're not saying, "Don't worry about it. You'll lose it one day." We're letting them really sit in that pain, in that discomfort, because we're not here to be their friends. We're here to hold them accountable. And accountability starts on that sales call. Are you okay to settle for that identity? "No, I'm not." We let them sit in it. They have to feel the discomfort because if they don't, they won't change. We can't convince someone that being 400 pounds overweight is a bad thing. They have to convince themselves it's a bad thing. So we continuously go through, "Hey, what's not working for you?" When you say, you look in the mirror and you're not happy, what does that mean? What aren't you happy about? "Well, I see the love handles, I see this under my face and blah, blah, blah." Gotcha. "And you mentioned this affects your relationship with your wife?" "Yeah, it does." "Tell me more. How so?" "Well, I'll be honest, you, me and my wife haven't been intimate in years." "Can I ask you another personal question?" "Yeah." "How does that make you feel?" We want them to open up. And sometimes when we're asking these personal questions, they're going to be like, when you hear that sigh of relief, it just shows that we've unlocked something that's very personal. Guys, sometimes on a sales call like this, and I'm giving you an extreme example of someone like this, sometimes it may not be as big of a pain point, but people will cry sometimes. And they'll open up because They're admitting something to someone that they've never admitted before. And it's our job to truly be doctors about this and really be coming from a place of service. Once we go through the pain, well, before I dive in, any questions on that, guys, so far? Does this make sense? Questions? Thumbs up from Lena. Awesome. Your job as a person on this call, by the way, is to take notes. I want you to get them so good in responding to your questions that they're basically painting an image of what a bad situation is like. And then I want them to help to paint the picture of what a good life looks like. Pain Island, Paradise Island. We want to be able to paint the picture for both. So when we jump ship and we go, hey, what's the goal? And I always like to sometimes like almost hesitate on my words on purpose. Like I go, what's the goal on your side? If I don't know, we don't have a magic wand on my side, but if I was able to snap my fingers and 6 months to a year from now, we were able to get you the body that you wanted, what would that look like? Oh man, Jeffrey, if you could do that for me, I would be able to do this, that, the other. So when you say that, what changed? And they start dreaming and they start building the picture of what Paradise Island is. And you're taking notes because you want to take notes in their words, not yours. Because at the end, when you pitch them the solution, you have to pitch it in their words, not yours. Make sense? Cool. My favorite question by far in the fitness space by far is how would the 2.0 version of you operate? Because we're trying to get them the identity of who they're trying to become later down the road, which is going to be very important if we're going to be objection handling later when they say too much money, can't do this, got to think about it, got to ask my wife's grandmother if she's okay with lending me the money. Like we're going to have to make sure that we hold them accountable to it. Hey, can I ask you a question? That 2.0 version that you described just now, how do they show up in life? And then I like to ask the question, how do other people see him or her? Well, they see this, that, the other. And then I go, can I ask you a deeper question? How would you see yourself? Guys, this is such a powerful question because they go, I respect myself more. You know, I'm my kid's superhero. You know, I can actually play sports with them like the other dads do versus sitting on the bench and just watching everyone else have fun and me sitting down. These are real problems. Now, I get it. Sometimes I'm giving you guys some extreme problems, but even someone who's trying to shed just 5 pounds, it may not sound like a lot, but you know better than anyone, 5 pounds is stubborn fat. Like it can be annoying as hell to lose the fast 5 pounds. If you've been struggling to lose 5 pounds, it can be painful. It may not be, hey, I'm not having the intimate life that I want, but it could be like, I'm breaking the promises to myself that I could do this. It's only 5 pounds. Why can't I lose this 5 pounds? So it doesn't have to always be as painful as intimacy with your partner or being the kid's superhero. It could be something else. But once we find the pain point, like the doctor does, let's press and find what it is. Can I ask you a question? What changes in your life when you hit this goal? How was life different? They're painting, we're taking notes. You want to be good at this, you mute your microphone while they say that, and you can type notes, so you type bullet points, because at the end, we want to pitch them the solution in their words, not ours. Lena, what have you tried doing so far to lose the weight? Well, I tried this one diet, I tried this one coach, I bought this $45 program, blah, 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 blah. Cool. Curious. Why do you think none of those things work? We want them to tell us why those things didn't work out. So we can actually separate what they tried to what we tried. Jeffrey's nodding. I love engagement. Thank you, Jeffrey. Joseph, I need more of these. Lane, I need more thumbs up. Tana and Jonathan, guys, everybody else, I need some just emojis, guys. Something in the comment section. Fabio's giving me fire in the chat. I'll take so they give me that. Then we say, McCoy, love it. A really good, my man, hell yeah. Third person on camera, love it. By the end, we're going to have everybody on camera. Then the next question that we ask is, how long have you been struggling with this for? We want a number. If someone says, hey, it's day one, it's the first day I struggle with this, kind of hard for us to sell them on something if they've only been trying for a day. We need some pain. So if someone says, I've been struggling with this for 6 months or 6 years, let's just say someone says, I've been struggling with this for Joseph, Jeffrey, McCoy. What's the longest someone has told you they've been struggling with something for?
For me, I'll probably say more than 2.5 years, I guess.
Joseph?
Mostly.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Maybe 2 or 3 years, because it's like people realize that they need a change, but going from understanding that they need a change to actually doing it, like a lot of people take a long time to do it
Yeah.
or try to, but not fully commit to the process.
Cool. So how long have you been struggling with this for? 2 to 3 years. Now, instead of saying, wow, that's a long time, da, 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 the best thing is to say, we lean in and say, are you sure it's been that long? And they're like, yeah, I guess it has been that long. So we want to come, again, curious child, are you sure it's been that long? Huh? And then we can use this powerful line, which is, well, why now, McCoy? Why now? Why not in a year from now, 2 years from now, or even 2 days from now? Why now? Why today do we want to fix it? And of course, we say this because, and I'm sure you guys guessed it, because at the end, if they come to me and say, I got to think about it for a day or two, you told me today that is the day we're going to fix this. Not tomorrow, not in 2 weeks, not January 1st. Today you said is important. This is why we take notes. Why not in a year from now, 2 years from now, or even 2 days from now. And if you say it, if you read it word for word, it's going to sound scripted. So you have to kind of like almost like find your word. You have to go, Joseph, why now? Why did you decide that now is the time to fix this? Why not in a year from now, 2 years from now, or even 2 days from now? Like, why now, man? When we say it like that, keep in mind tonality, especially when we're opening into someone's life and they're admitting stuff, we need to slow things down. I'm talking fast through this call so I can get you everything, but this is how we have to slow things down by the end of it. Then we ask one of the most powerful questions that we have when we go, Tannen, question, man. What happens if the next 3 years look like the previous 3 years? What happened? We ask it in a very, very slow way like that because we want them to actually go, it can't happen. Like, I can't have the next 3 years be like the last three. It's time to change. And we're like, do you want help? Of course, they're going to be like, yes. So we have to slow down the sale to speed up the sale. It's not about racing through and like, hey, okay, let's get to the finish line. It's going to be $3,000 for like, no, slow down, dig. The stronger you are, the better you are at digging and asking more questions to get to the root of the problem, the more you can diagnose them correctly. Guess what? In the medical field, if you misdiagnose someone, you lose your license. You could even go to jail. It should be that, like, we're in the same position. If we misdiagnose someone, we shouldn't be allowed to do what we do because if we truly care, we want to get to the root cause of it. Not, hey, give me $3,000. See where the pain is. Keep digging. Let them see it. Then they will happily hand over the money. Even if someone doesn't have the money, if it's a problem that's big enough that they want to fix, they'll find a way to fix it. If I tell you guys now, hey, like wire me 50K and I'll get you 80K back or whatever. Just I'm giving an example. Like, you'll figure out a way to find that. If they find the value enough that it's more than the money, they'll make it work. We need to ask these questions to get to that level. Then comes a really fun part of the call. If you're taking notes, you do this correctly. So, Joseph, let me see if I'm on the same page here. I want to make sure we're on the right page. It sounds like really all you're trying to do is lose 40 pounds. But you've tried this for the past 3-4 years and you just find yourself on the hamster wheel, spinning your wheels time and time again. And what you really are missing is an exact roadmap to get you out so you can finally shed the weight and be at the place you want to be once and for all. Now, I'm just making stuff up because I don't have notes on Joseph, but we just need to give them a 1-minute recap. The 1-minute recap is probably the most powerful part of the call because they're coming to you with a mess in their mind. I want you to picture this. They come to you with a deck of cards and the 52 cards and they've just dropped them on the floor. And your job is to pick up these cards and organize them: ace to king diamonds, ace to king clubs, heart, spade, and then show them and say, hey, are these your cards? And they go, yes, those are my cards. Your job is to organize the information and present it back to them in a way that's digestible. Jeffrey, are these your cards? Yes. How did you know? Well, you just told me. I'm just re-quoting you. You don't say that, obviously, but you'll notice here when you give them a recap, they're like, oh my God, that's exactly what I'm struggling with. Sometimes people will be like, how did you know? They just told you. Then we go into the transition. So some people say, oh, here's your problems. Here's how I can help. I like to add in a little bit of a transition to make it more of a smooth journey. McCoy, based on where you're at and everything you just told me, I definitely know that I can help you out. Happy to walk you through that if it's something that you're open. What do you think McCoy's going to say? Yeah, man, please fix it. Help me. Permission sales. I like to ask permission. I want people to ask me to sell them versus me saying, hey, do you want to buy my thing? I want you to say, man, like, please tell me. Hey, based on where you're at, I 100% know I can help you out. Let me know if it's something that you're open to hearing about. And he goes, cool. Then we go into prescription. And this is something that I need you all to get really, really good at. You all have things that make you super unique. Like, Jeffrey's system is different than Lena's system, than McCoy's system, Jonathan. Everyone has their own system, correct? When it comes down to it, it really does boil down to what? Nutrition, workouts, rest, mindset. Does anyone have anything other than these 4 things that they can say is truly something that they focus on? Or does it fit within these categories? Now, everyone in the world knows they need to diet. Everyone in the world knows they need to work out. Everyone in the world knows they need to sleep better. Everyone in the world knows they need to have a better mindset. If we position it that way, it's not sexy, it's not exciting. Who here remembers when the keto diet exploded 10 years ago and became keto everything? And even like the junkiest of junk food wrote keto Snicker bars. And it was like, what? Like, keto became the biggest thing, right? Everyone remembers this? I'm not the only one. Lena gets it.
Yeah, I remember that. Even I was way younger, and I remember everyone talking about keto.
How old are you, Joseph?
I'm 29.
Cool. 10 years before the keto diet, or actually, sorry, 15 years before the keto diet came out, the keto diet came out again, but it was called something else. It was called the Atkins diet, Atkins. High fat, no carbs. Revolutionary, most exciting thing. They just rebranded it. They just gave it a different name, and it was the exact same diet, and they exploded. Guess what's going to happen in the next 5 or 10 years? The next keto diet is going to be labeled something else, right? Intermittent fasting, like all these things have been done before. They just give it different labels. Intermittent fasting is due for a new name soon, right? Like now they're doing 3-day, 4-day fast, and even that's kind of fading off. So they're going to relabel these differently. So if you tell someone, track your nutrients, calories in, calories out, work out, get some sleep, they'll be like, I've already heard this before. So we need to make it unique and exciting to our method. I can help you guys out throughout this. But the way it happens is, and Jeffrey, I want to hear your voice because you're speaking. So Joseph has had his turn. If I'm going to go ahead and pitch Jeffrey on my fitness program, if I tell him, hey man, I need you to track your nutrients, I need you to work out, and I need you to, and I'm just going to, keep you accountable. He's heard this before. So I have to make it more exciting. Look, Jeffrey, I want you to write down 1, 2, 3 in a piece of paper, and leave some space for notes. This isn't like live. I don't want you to actually do this, but this is how I would do it on a sales call. So on the first thing I want you to write down is I want you to write down CDO. Now I want you all to actually think of how you can make it your version. Don't steal this. I'm making this a stupid example so that you guys can't steal it, okay? Because I don't want you to copy paste it and all have the same pitch. I want you all to uniquely think of this. So Jeffrey's sitting there and he goes CDO. And the first one usually needs to be a little bit shocking. So I say CDO stands for cake diet only. Now, you all know this is an extreme example, but technically calories in, calories out. If someone needs 2,000 calories and they eat 1,800 calories worth of cake every single day, they will lose weight. If they eat 3,000 calories worth of broccoli, they're going to gain weight. Like, we all agree with it. True? True. So obviously the cake diet only isn't a real thing. But the way I would pitch it is like, look, Jeffrey, my goal in life isn't to starve you from the things that excite you in the world. You told me how much you love cake. So my goal isn't to remove cake from your diet. In fact, I want you to only eat cake. I want to put this in so we can track it. But my goal is to make sure we track the amount of cake. Guys, please understand this isn't a real example. I'm just making it extra ridiculous on purpose. But I want you to, so we'll calculate the exact amount of cake that your body needs to operate so that we can help you lose fat and gain muscle at the exact same time. Jeffrey's sitting here and like, whoa, I've never heard of the cake diet only. Now, this is an extreme example. Better terms would be like you can say something like, I don't know, eat cake, lose weight, something like that. Silly examples. But you can say something like diet, DYL. What does that mean? Diet you love. Interesting. I've never heard this one before. What we're going to do is I want you to make sure that we feed your body the food that it needs, but I still want you to give yourself a sweet treat at the end of the day so that your body isn't going to go ahead and like starve yourself and then crash and then you're going to yo-yo diet. We want you to make sure blah, blah, blah. So I want you all to sit down and think, how can I make 1, 2, and 3, which is usually nutrition, workout, and accountability, all make sense. The third one I'll give you word for word so you guys can use it. And then when I say this to Jeffrey, hey, cake diet only, I go, Jeffrey, does that make sense to you? And he's going to say yes. And then I'm like, do you see how this is going to help you lose the weight that you were talking about while still eating the foods that you love? And you're like, absolutely. Cool. Jeffrey, ready to move on to the second thing that we're going to work on? He's sitting there with pen and paper excited because he's never heard of this new thing. Number 2 is we're going to work on what we call the 15-minute power lift. Like, obviously, this is just another crazy example, but you need to give your diets, your workouts, you need to give these things your labels, your stamp to make it sound interesting. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to work on the 15-minute power lift. Now, McCoy, I know you told me at the beginning of the call that you work a 9 to 5 shift and it takes you an hour to get to work and an hour to get home. The last thing you want to do is go to the gym for another hour after work. I understand that, man. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. So instead of that, what we're going to do is we're going to teach you what I call the 15-minute power lift, where every morning you're going to run to the gym and you're going to do a 15-minute only. I don't even want 16. I want 15-minute power lift where we're going to exhaust your muscles. Then you're going to go for a full day of work. And then when you come home, I don't even need you to go back to the gym. At home, we can do 15 minutes more of exercise. We're going to get you to blah, 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 blah. Get the body that you've always been talking about. McCoy's sitting here going, I've never heard of that. It's custom to me. That's why we took notes earlier, because I want to say, remember when you told me this? That's why this is going to work for you. Hey, Jeffrey, remember when you said you love to eat cake? Cool. That's why this nutrition plan is going to work for you. Joseph, remember when you told me that, you've tried this over and over again and you yo-yo and all that stuff and you can't figure this out? So that's why the third thing we're going to focus on, and usually the last one, we just want to keep it super simple, like very, very simple. Lastly, Joseph, we just want to hold you to a new standard. The 2.0 version of yourself that you told me you wanted to be, we're not only going to make sure that you get there, but you start operating at that level from here on out. So we're going to hold you accountable and make sure we're in your corner from beginning to end so that we can help you finally step into that end. And that starts today. Now, I'm using this on purpose because I want Joseph to remember that 2.0 starts today. So if at the end of the call, he goes, let's start in a month, I'd be like, is this how, I'd hold him to the standard of, hey man, just curious. And we can go over objection handling a different day. How does Joseph 2.0 make decisions? Does he leave things for another month? Or does he draw a line in the sand and say enough is enough and I'm going to step into that identity today? You tell me, who do you want to leave this call being today? Joseph 1.0 or Joseph 2.0? And you can even say, can I be honest? It doesn't affect me at all. I'm still going to be Jeffrey. You need to decide who you want to step into. We slow down. We say it like this so people go, wow, today's the day I'm making that change. 2.0, 1.0. Fitness, very, very powerful because it is an identity shift. Questions so far, guys? Joseph, McCoy, Jeffrey, even the non-camera people. Anyone, question in the chat or raised hands or unmute.
I do have a quick question. It might be obvious, but when you're saying like taking the notes and all that, like I totally understand. And then you're saying to have that, like write this down. And I know you gave the ridiculous example, but do you typically like for each person then just create like something right on the spot for them to write down, like just making that up as you go? Or are you saying like we should come up with like a few things that we can have with our own kind of like label on it, like ready to go?
Great question. Great
Okay.
question. And there are no dumb questions, no obvious questions. We're all here to learn. Like, so if you have questions, don't be shy, please. Thanks for asking that. You have to have your 3 standard ones. So your one could be like, I don't know your model, but it could be like the greens before protein or greens before carbs plan, whatever. And then the 3-day a month, 3-day a week workout. Right? Like Tim Ferriss wrote the book, The 4-Hour Body. Or he wrote The 4-Hour Work Week, then he wrote The 4-Hour Body. You just need to find your own thing. But Lena, what's important is because you took notes earlier, you want to be able to say, and remember when you said this thing to me? That's why the 3-hour work week body is going to be the thing that's going to help you out. And Jeffrey, remember when you said that you always go back to your old habits? That's why you need the accountability. So at each section or each 3 of the benefits that I'm giving them, the prescriptions, I'm going to tie it back to what they said to me. So then it almost feels custom. It's great that you asked that because we don't want to be confusing because we need to have the same 3 standard thing. I call it the drum that you're beating. Like, hey, you're beating the same drum. This is what you're shouting to the world. These are your 3 drums, nobody else's drums. That's why it's yours and it's unique. So when you pitch these things, you say, hey, this thing, this thing, this thing. Now, if you want to take a step further, that's when you say, remember when you said this on the call? That's why we're doing this thing. And then in the next one, and remember when you told me that you don't want, you're tired of starving yourself? That's why we're going to do the eat cake only diet because I want to fuel you as much cake as you possibly can eat, so you're sick of cake by the end of the working with me, or whatever it is. Does that make sense, Lena?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, it does. Thank you. Thank you.
You got it. Then I go, makes sense. Makes sense? Question mark. And they say, yeah, makes sense. And I go, any questions on the process specifically before I move into how it all works? The reason why I say the process specifically, I don't want them to randomly go, well, how much does it cost and all that stuff? I want them to just focus on just these 3 points that we talked about. Let's keep them tunnel vision onto what we mentioned. And then they say, no questions at all. Then we go into the delivery. Now, the delivery, I'm not going to show you until, give me a second. Hiding it on purpose. The reason why we want to, this is like one of the simplest things that I think every fitness coach I've seen mess up. If you're flying to Hawaii for a vacation and I'm trying to sell you Hawaii, just notice how like the average salesperson or in fitness will sell the journey versus selling the goal. I'm not going to tell you, oh man, it's going to be a 10-hour flight. There's going to be a 4-hour layover in wherever. And sometimes like our coffee machine breaks, but sometimes it's good. And we're going to serve a vegetarian meal, a chicken meal, a steak meal on the plane. You don't care about all that. You just care about, hey, as soon as you land, we will take 10 steps off the plane and your toes will dig into the sand and you look at your partner and they'll be like, thank you for taking me on this trip. That's what you should be selling. So don't waste your time on a sales call saying, we're going to track every single calorie that you eat. I'm going to knock on your door. I'm going to show up. I'm going to carry you. I'm going to give you 12 calls a week. Like they don't care about all that. They care about their toes in the sand on the beach. Don't sell the journey, sell the destination. And it's easy for us to get, we care about our system. They don't care. They don't care if you give them one pill and they get shredded, or if you call them every single day, get on FaceTime and work out with them every single day and they get shredded. They just want to get shredded or lose weight or whatever their goal is. So don't sell them the journey, sell them the destination. In which case, you want to keep this super simple. So look, the way this works, keep it under 2 to 3 minutes maximum, is we're going to create a custom meal plan. I'm making this up. You guys can figure out how you want to position this. We're going to make a custom meal plan and a tailored workout plan based on your body and your goals. We'll be working with you for a period of 3 months to make sure you hit those goals. And you'll have weekly check-ins with him as well as phone call support questions to make sure he holds your hand every step of the way to get you to the finish. Super short, super concise. This is a generic one. Please, please, please make your own one. Whatever you plan. If it's a call a week, a call a month, they don't really care about how many calls. All they care about is, like if you go to the doctor to operate on your leg, he's not going to be like, so what we're going to do first is we're going to take your blood and then we're going to inject you with the right dosage of anesthesia and then you're going to fall asleep and then we're going to go ahead and start cutting they don't care about that. Hey, we're going to put you under. It's going to be a 1-hour operation. You're going to walk in the morning. Cool. That's all I need to know. Keep it simple. If a doctor is explaining to you surgery, he's going to explain it simple. You're explaining to this person surgery. They don't care how it's done. They just want to walk tomorrow. Cool. All right. Then we do the temperature check. Temperature check is to make sure that they feel good about what we just said. It also calls out the BS because sometimes someone will act like, oh, like they're excited. We want to be able to see how they feel. So in this case, Joseph, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like, I don't know, man, like you hate this fitness coaching program, it's never going to work for you, to 10, this is exactly where you need for you to lose the weight and get in shape again. Where do you stand, Joseph? Just pretend you're a client.
I don't know. How much is gonna cost?
Cool. We can go into that a different day, Joseph. Like, I'm gonna go over objection handling for sure. Play ball with me. 1 to 10. Just give me a number.
8.
Cool. Now, when someone says an 8, obviously they're not a 9 or a 10. I want someone to be a 9 or a 10 so I know that they're sold, right? If they're an 8, it's not strong enough for me to be like, so something's a little bit missing. Now, the average person will probably say something, cool, Jeffrey, what's stopping you from being a 9 or a 10, right? Standard question. Instead, I like to flip it around and say, awesome, Joseph, you said an 8. Why not lower? Because you're going to be like, well, because I do need to fix this. And I do. So now you start setting yourself up versus me trying to force you up. I don't want to force anybody to do anything. My goal is to just sit here, ask questions, and let you sell yourself. Yeah, cool. Joseph, hey, love it. Question for you, man. Why not lower? You're going to sell yourself up. And then you're going to say this, that, the other. Then I can say, cool. What do you feel like is missing and holding you back from being like a 9 or a 10? But I do it backwards versus trying to force you. And if I do it backwards and I see something that you're not expecting, you're more likely to, well, you know, okay, cool. Well, actually, I do need this. And well, it's not lower because I've slept on this for 3 years and I do need to do something about it. Cool. Now, if they say 9 or a 10, what do most people do? Amazing. Let's get you in. Let's do this, right? We're fitness coaches. We want to get people excited. No, I like to double check. I want to call BS because if someone is lying to me, I want to know. But I also want to do a double tie down. Jeffrey, you said a 9 or a 10. Awesome. What about this specifically feels like the biggest game changer for you? Now I want you to go back and like, remember when you told me I can eat all my cake? Oh man, that did it for me. Like that's what it's going to be so exciting for me for the next 3 months. Like that's what I'm excited about. I don't know why we've become Jeffrey the cake eater, but if you're eating cake on this call, that's your diet. If you eat anything else, I'll call you a liar. But if you say 9 or a 10, I'm going to be like, cool, what is like the biggest game changer for you? And you're going to tell me, oh man, this thing. Now I know you've paid attention and I can tell if you're like, oh yeah, man, 9 or 10. Oh, just because I think this is going to work. No, I want to hear you say, oh man, it's going to work because this. And you're going to just get into it. Make sense? We're not done yet, guys. There's more to go. But so far, I'm going to do a temp check. How's everyone feeling? Good? Questions, thoughts, concerns? Anybody? Jeffrey and Joseph, my two vocal people.
Yeah, everything is good, boss.
Jonathan, hell yeah, nice.
All good, all good, all good.
Nice.
I think with the temperature check, the fact that I would say like Joseph went lower, that's like a game changer because I've had the same thing like this. So I had a call with someone who tried to sell me something up. He used just the same method, and I was like, okay, I was at like 9, I think. Or this is a game changer when he goes lower. You gotta ask him like why not lower?
Yep.
You know, then he automatically sells himself to you instead of you trying to force him to buy whatever you send for him. That's really a game changer, I would say.
Exactly. Love it. Good catch. So that's what we're trying to do here. Hey.
Quick question. Sorry.
Yeah, by all means. Love to hear your voice. Let's go.
So my question, first of all, thank you for having this call.
Of course.
My question to you is, because you gave us the yes ladder first, right? With our unique offers and the yes ladder.
Yep.
And then you gave us the deliverable. You give them the deliverable, right?
Correct.
So my question to you is, since we give them the yes ladder with our unique offers in it, with our unique methods, and then we come back and give them the deliverables, we're like regular, like you get a nutrition plan, a fitness plan. Should we use our same language that we use for the deliverables? I mean, for that yes ladder in that deliverable?
Great question. Great question. The deliverables is not it's not like the least important thing, but all you need to say is, look, the way it works is we're gonna go once a week and I'm in your corner from beginning to end. Like they just need to know that you've got them covered, right? So if you want to, by all means, if you can find a way to take those three points from like point 1, point 2, point 3 and add it into your deliverables, fantastic. In fact, I'd be curious to even watch it. If you want, do it, submit it to me on Slack and I'll go ahead and give you feedback on it. Happy to do that. But really important thing, like try to keep it as slim as possible. It's a minute thing. Hey man, we're gonna jump on call once a week. We have these live training calls. I'm gonna make sure from beginning to end that your back goes from this big to this big by the end of the meeting. Cool. Hell yeah. That's all I need. That's all I need. Cool. All right. We're going to go into the pitch. And then I say, any questions for me before I go into the investment of how all this works, which is what Joseph was curious about. And then we go into, well, here's how it's going to work. You'd work with the coach one-on-one or group coaching, whatever. Again, this is just a plain simple thing over the next 3 months to help you get to the goal they mentioned. So it's really important to use the goal they mentioned and to be able to get you to lose the 30 pounds in 3 months, whatever they said. And obviously it has to be realistic. The investment for that is just $3,000, whatever price point you have. Now, I'm sure you've heard before in sales, once you mention the price, you stay silent. Why? Why are we staying silent? Anyone? No one. I'll tell you. Everyone has told you, and you've heard the saying, the first person who speaks is the person who loses. I think that's the stupidest thing in the world. I think it's dumb. I don't believe in that attitude at all. The reason why we stay silent is because we want to stop ourselves from putting our foot in our mouth. That's really the only reason. The reason why we want to stay silent is because we don't want to say something dumb. Because most people go, hey, McCoy, it's $3,000 a month or $3,000 to work with. And then I see you hesitating. I'm like, oh, we can do it for discount or payment plan or whatever you need, bro. And you're just like, you didn't even have a chance to process. I'm just saying, hey, this is what the price is. I'm not trying to tell you, like, I just need you to process the information. I'm staying silent, and I'm not staying silent for like 10 hours. I'm staying silent for like 20 seconds, 10 seconds. I just want you to process the information so I can see your face and see you go, now I know something's up. I need to keep calm though. I'm not going to freak out and give you payment plans. I need to take it easy. In fact, usually, believe it or not, people don't realize this. Sales calls start from here. This is where the sales call actually starts, because here's where they're going to throw objections. Guess what? If they were in shape, they wouldn't have any excuses. They have excuses because they're not in shape. Like, they're gonna have more excuses. It's another thing that they're gonna have. Expect them to have excuses. Now, if you do everything correctly and we get into the thing and into like their emotions, they're not gonna have any objections, and they've opened up to you. They will go through with this. So our goal is to do this correctly, and you won't have objections. But the reason why we stay silent is because we want them to process the information, and then once they go through it, and sometimes they may be like, cool, I'm ready to get started. Or you can say, well, you ready to get to work? And they'll tell you if they're ready to get to work.